Good morning, everyone, and welcome to S-Pank's January-September 2024 results webcast. My name is Laine-Tolonen. I am CEO of S-Pank, and together with me here in the studio is Mika Heikkilä, our CFO. We will give our presentation. However, we are also very happy to answer your questions. And if you would have any, please post them to the system and we will answer them later. First, some highlights and comments by me, and then Mika will do a bit more deep dive to numbers. S-Pank's strong performance continued during the first 9 months of this year, and we are about to start our next chapter. Our financial performance was strong and our operating profit rose to 126.3 million with over 20% growth. And we have been delivering very steady operating profit through these 3 quarters this year, every quarter over 40 million, which is of course a good performance, or of course strong. Behind this is a strong net interest income improvement, and of course behind that is a good development both with deposit base and lending base. Also, asset under management grew, and all good performance led also strengthened capital adequacy ratio, which was 21.7%. Also, our services are increasingly popular, and we can see that our digital channels are gaining very good traction. I will touch upon that a bit later. And also our strategic target to reach 1 million active customers, we are very well on track with that as well. Actually, the number of active customers reached 725,000, and that is an impressive number in the market. The growth has been 12.9%, and actually the growth equals to 83,000 new active customers. And if we compare that in Finland, it is actually approximately the same number that we have inhabitants in the 10th largest city in Finland, which is Pori. Also, the strategy implementation is well on track, and of course the most important initiative for this year is to complete the Handelsbanken transaction, and I will tell a bit more about that also later in the presentation. However, all in all, we are well on track with that as well. And when we look at the financial performance targets for the whole strategy period, we are well on track there as well. Our good performance and also outlook was also noted by Standard & Poor's when they updated our rating, which is now BBB+, and also with stable outlook. So well done. I want to thank our customers, employees, owners and investors for this successful 9 months. In September, we updated our outlook for this year, and we have kept it unchanged. And we estimate that our full year operating profit will be almost the same level as it was last year. We can see, of course, that there are some good signals, positive signals about inflation, interest rates, consumer confidence. However, some of these signals are still containing uncertainties, so that we have taken into account. And then on the other hand, we will still have costs coming in related to Handelsbanken transaction. So outlook unchanged for this year. Let's then look at our business segments a bit more thoroughly, and first banking segment, and there we saw growth in loan and deposit portfolios. In this business segment, of course, the impact of interest rate is higher because we have here 7.79 billion deposits, which were actually growing also well during this 9 months. The growth was 3.4%. We are also very proud that we have been exceeding the market growth in housing loans, and our market position has been strengthened. Our housing loan volume grew by 0.4%. Of course, we can also see that the market activity has been abnormally low. However, during now last quarter, we can see increased activity. So also our housing loan applications grew with 17.5% when we compare year on year. As I already mentioned, our customers have been very actively using our services, and you can see here that the card purchases made by S-Etukortti Visa, the growth has been 11.6% when we look at the volumes in euros, and when we actually look at the number of usage, it's a bit more higher. Actually, it's a bit over 13%. The growth rate. So active customers are using our services actively also. Wealth management, our other strong leg, we saw their growth in number of unit holders continuing very well. The operating income was almost flat, slight growth, and the operating profit was actually slightly negative. And here we can see the impact from Handelsbanken transaction-related development costs. Net subscriptions well positive, slightly lower than the corresponding period last year. But as I've already mentioned, the number of the unit holders is growing well. And this is also a signal that we reach our customers well with digital services in the wealth management and savings space. So very proud of that as well. Then a couple of highlights related to strategy and strategy implementation. Here you can see our strategy, which we are now executing for the first year, and we aim to be even more customer-focused and digital bank. And as mentioned, one of our main targets is to grow the number of active customers to 1 million. The other very important target for us is that we also want to be growing with high-value customers. And it is very much based on this Handelsbanken transaction and our ambition to become main bank for even more and more Finns. There are three key change areas which we are building the change and ambition to execute this strategy. And the first is Handelsbanken integration. And then we are almost closing the integration, less than 3 weeks to go. I will touch upon that next. But there are also two other key change areas, and the other is that we are renewing the service model, and there we are especially building capabilities to be serving also with more complex advisory, those customers who have more complex needs, but also building other ways the service model of the bank. There we will take more steps next year. And then, of course, the third area is improving the scalability. There we have a potential to even more develop our digital services for customers, but also scale and improve the back office and processes what we have. When we look at the strategy execution, Handelsbanken integration, I will touch upon that, but also very important is that how are we able to serve the customers even more digitally? And there we have also some great milestones to present. First of all, the use of the mobile app, our S-Mobile, is increasing, and we are now on the levels where we have 1.4 million weekly active users. And that means that customers are using the service actively, but we also reach the customers well with our mobile. We have, during Q3 and also during last week, improved the services even further. And as an example, we launched English version of mobile app for our customers who don't use Swedish or Finnish. And we are continuously also introducing new features, of course, smaller ones and then larger ones. We were able to present our customers Apple Pay in April, and that complemented very well the earlier Google Pay wallet service, which we had to offer customers before Apple Pay. And what we can see there is that it is really getting traction. Growing number of customers are using that, and we can see that, of course, the younger customers are very active in using that. Already 15% of our card payments are made by using mobile payment wallets. I'm also very happy to communicate that since the beginning of S-Bank, we have been collaborating with Visa, and now we have agreed to continue our collaboration, and that is, of course, a very strong foundation for us to even further develop the payment services of S-Bank. Our customers are very pleased with our services. Our EPSI rating was 80.6, which is almost 5 index points above industry average. And we were chosen to be the most respected brand in the financial sector now for the 7th time in a row. And then about Handelsbanken transaction. And we are living exciting times, and there is 100,000 new customers from Handelsbanken joining S-Bank during the weekend turn of November and December. This will strengthen our position in the market and give us good capabilities to execute our strategy. We will become fourth largest bank for private customers in Finland. Handelsbanken customers can feel safe and come with good confidence to S-Bank. Their own contact person and branch will serve them in S-Bank as well. We have been actively contacting customers and explaining what to do in order to get all the transfer to be as smooth as possible. And we really encourage all the customers to take action. There's a very good, easy use digital service for most of the customers, and we are working very hard to ensure that this would be as smooth as possible for Handelsbanken customers to join S-Bank, but of course for our existing customers as well. Otherwise, everything on track as well. We are before the November-December turn, also finalizing the financing, and there will be also the share issue for our owners executed before that time. As a summary, all our main targets, financial targets are well on track when we look at the whole strategy period. The operating profit rose to 126.3 million euros end Q3 this year. Our return on equity, 20%, well above the strategy period target, which is 10%. Cost income ratio, 51%. Well, also here below the target, which is 60% for the whole target period, and then already highlighted number of active customers, well on track, 725,000 active customers end Q24. And in summary, end Q3, strong performance and towards strategic targets, well on track. We are well progressing towards 1 million active customers target. Handelsbanken transaction, as mentioned, exciting times, but well on track. We are completing that in 3 weeks' time. And after that, we are fourth largest bank for private customers in Finland. And simultaneously, we have been developing our services and improving customer experience. So very proud, well done. Thank you, everybody. And now I will give over to Mika, please.
Thank you. So let's go to the key financial a little bit more deeply. So here we can see quite stable development in every quarter this year, as Riikka mentioned. So the total income was 102 million in Q3, and the operating profit was 43 million at the same period. Still, the net interest income remained at high level in Q3, totally 77 million, and it's only a little bit less than the peak what we had in Q1. It was 80 million net interest income at that time. So totally the operating profit increased in cumulative in 9 months, this 21.6%. But when we compare to Q3 this year on last year, so actually the operating profit decreased by 8% to 43 million from 46 million. Here on the left-hand side, to summarize, the total income in this 9 months period increased by 15.8%, mainly due to the net interest income, and the total cost increased by 15.2% due to the higher personnel and also due to the integration cost concerning the acquisition. On the right-hand side, the banking segment is still a little bit higher from the income split by segments. It was 93%, and also net interest income was 76% of total income. Very strong cost-income ratio, also this 51%, and total income to total asset was 4% at this time. As Riikka mentioned, we have very steady growth in deposit base, so totally this 8.5 billion, and in different portfolios, household customers was up this 3.4%, and corporate customers over 10%, so totally 3.9% up. Also, lending was up 1.9% totally to 7 billion, and household customers was up 1.3%, and corporate customers 4.6%, so total is 1.9%. And in our asset under management, growth was this 6.5%, totally this 6.4 billion, and in different portfolios, fund capital increased by 12.8%, and wealth management was down 7.4%. So due to the good market conditions, also the asset under management grew. Here in repayment holidays, it's still the declining trend here. So the share of those loans was 4.8% at the end of September, as it was 6.9% at the end of last year. Also with credit losses, it was quite stable development in Q3, and totally in 9 months, net credit losses, they were 22.5 million, so they were a little bit less than the on previous year. Also, ECL provision was quite stable, 39.4 million. They were actually in H1, they were 41 million, so it's a little bit less than that time. And also the non-performing loans remained quite stable. They were 1.6% at the end of September. In our balance sheet, the total balance sheet was 11.3 billion at the end of September. So we have been very active in debt market this year, and we can see that totally 1.6 billion, or we have totally issued bonds 1.6 billion, as it was about 900 million at the end of last year. Also, especially the household deposits has grown over 350 million this year. And from the asset side, we can summarize that our liquidity portfolio is totally 3.7 billion, so it's around 33% of the total assets. Our own funds increased due to the strong profit performance, and at the same time, the total risk exposure amount remained stable. So in MREL requirement, our MREL ratio was at the end of September 34.5%, and the total requirement was 25.4%. So there is around 300 million buffer on that or above that. Our capital position is strong, so equity ratio went a little bit up. It was 6.6% at the end of September, and the total capital adequacy ratio 21.7%, and the CET1 ratio 19%, which are both clearly over the regulatory requirements. Our total liquidity and investment portfolio was 3.9 billion, so we are very well prepared to this closing for this Handelsbanken acquisition, and therefore we have a good liquidity position. Level 1 assets, they are totally 95% of the liquidity portfolio. They are mostly in central bank, and our LCR ratio was 384% at the end of September. So as to summarize, when looking back to 2021 also, so we have had very strong growth both in total income and operating profit. Our loan to deposit ratio is still quite low, 83%. We have very good substantial improvement in cost to income ratio and return on equity, and we have very robust capital base. So that was the final slide from my side.
Excellent summary. Thank you, Mika. And then to ask if you have any questions. No, there are not any questions. So thank you for your attention and wishing you a very nice rest of the week and of course rest of the year. Thank you.
Thank you.